Hey everybody. Hey, do you remember this little ditty right here? You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in, and then you shake it all about. You remember that? I think sometimes that's what we do with our salvation. We're doing the hokey pokey. You know, it's like I'm in, I'm out. When I'm in, I'm just shaking all about. But then sometimes I think I'm out. We're going to get a chance to talk about that this week. We're going to be back in Hebrews, gang. And so we'll be in Hebrews chapter 6. Isn't that cool? We've already marched through right at the first 5 chapters. So we're going to start in Hebrews 6. And depending on the translation that you use, you'll probably see these words. It'll say so or therefore. And whatever those connecting words are, what they're doing is they're bringing everything that the writers have already talked about, and they're bringing it to this moment because they're saying, look, so, or therefore, or hey, look, let's leave the fundamental teachings of Christ and move on. You remember we were talking about milk and meat, and so the thing is that what are the writers wanting us to move on from? What are the fundamental teachings of Christ that the writers are saying, look, we've gone over this. These are some of the things that we really shouldn't have to be going over again. But okay, since some of us are kind of not getting it, we're going to do that again. And so let us remind ourselves what they were talking about in this little bit. And so that way when we get together on Saturday, we'll just jump right in. So some of the things that they were talking about, if you'll remember, is that Christ is superior. And that everything that the prophets and the law were talking about, that Christ fulfilled. I mean, Christ even said, he said, look, I'm going to sum all this up for you. Love me, love others as yourself. And you remember that? And so, but he kept, the writers reminding us that when we would look in the back at the people that Moses was leading out, there was this hardening of the hearts. They were talking about trying to enter God's rest. And it all stems on belief. And so we even saw one week where this hardening of our hearts comes from our unbelief. And what the writers are reminding the folks is going, look, don't turn from your belief in Christ and knowing that He's fulfilled it and go back to the have-tos. Remember, these guys are transforming everything that they're about from their have-tos. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this in order to be right with God. And they're changing it and saying, look, your faith in Christ makes you righteous. Therefore, we get to go do these things. Totally different. And that the overflow of our love from knowing that Christ has us secure, which means now we have entered God's rest. Isn't that cool? So we're in this place of security. We're in this place of peace with God through our faith in Christ. And therefore we get to go love on folks in a wide open fashion. And that's what you guys are doing. And so you're starting to learn how to teach others how not to do the hokey pokey. Their left foot in, their left foot out. I mean, we hear these terms, well, I'm just not right with God. What are you basing that on? If you're basing it on you, then you're probably right. But if you're basing it on Christ, you'll never not be right with God. Ever. That's what we're going to learn this next week, because we're going to learn that when we see these people that have tasted the Word and yet turned from it in unbelief, that what they're really wanting Christ to do is to keep crucifying Himself. Gang, you know well, because you're graduate students in this thing and you're teaching others that Christ finished it. So it's so neat to see how you work that out in your salvation, knowing that you're secure, knowing that you're in this place of peace with God through Christ. And then so what that looks like is that you're dynamically living Him out, believing Him out, in a wide open fashion. Even so that this next coming month, remember, this week will be the last time we get together for a while, with the exception of one time in July. And gang, the reason is because we truly believe that home and work and community is where we're to be. Home, work, and community. And that when we do get together, that it's so cool. But we want you to get together in your homes. I mean, go look at Acts 2, chapter 2, verse 46, and you'll see these two ladies opening their homes. You'll look in 2 Corinthians in chapter 16, and you'll see that the churches that are meeting in their homes, in their houses. And it's also in Colossians chapter 2, to the church that are meeting in their houses. That's you. That's us. That's where greatness happens. That's where community is stemmed. So man, gather everybody up. Let's finish this month strong with one another. And let's help others not do the hokie, pokie. Love y'all.